We're back! Welcome to another episode of Awesome Stuff Badly with me, Uncle Dr. Ernie, joined again by our good friend, Dr. Andrew Williams, who is there. You can say hi to yourself on the screen, and anyone else who might be watching. He'll stay muted, which is just as well. I think you can't actually hear him when he talks, but it's probably quiet because it's filtered through. And I will start with prayer. Dear God, just thank you for the progress we've made. Thank you for friends and colleagues who are pitching in to help in various ways. I pray you help us to create something a little bit better today than we had yesterday, and that we'd also increase our own understanding of our code and of this amazing universe we live in. Thank you that you're with us always through all the ups and downs. Help us to persevere in doing good. I ask this in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, so let's get started. So I can bring you up to speed. Last we left, let's go ahead and re-gulp this thing here so we can make sure it's all current and up to date. We had gotten our little robot turtles to move around. But then in the previous episode, I did some funky things with the paths, which is why we get these little drawing artifacts. And I also broke the program code. Let's see what our git diff shows here. Right, and the reason was we were not able to dynamically update our program listing, which was here. So I turned it into a reactive array, which messed up our actual runtime. But I'm hoping that's going to be a very trivial fix, which we will try to do now. And that is when we step through our program, we have a program counter, and it's no longer an array, it's a Rx array element. Let's just try the simple fix there first and see if that helps. And yes, all right, so we can step through again, which is awesome. And will it run? No, it will not run. So let's see where that's breaking down. Let's just check and double check. Oops. That was weird. So reset here. Direct manipulation works fine. Step, 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 step. That works fine. So let's save that. Git commit-sham and step through reactive array. Then the next two things we have to get it is to actually run and also get it to display the program again. So let's go back here. See, are we getting any errors? We're getting lots of errors. Okay. Our action command there is the clicking on the command. So why is that unhappy? Let's clear the console and see exactly what's generating that error here. When I click pause, okay, I have been adding a lot to the programming array, so those things are all working correctly, which is, oh, awkward. The click, I mixed my metaphors. That was the problem. Okay, running the program works fine. The thing that is causing confusion is my attempt to make this more dynamic. So problem was that I was telling it to push the actions in there. So let me remove that, which was the bug. Okay. So now 2, 2, 3, make that a little faster too. No, first let's save this. Through program. Did it stop? Yes, it stopped. Why did it stop? The error is, click defines an object. So the action key, we should have an assert in there. Action, we should probably have this here before that's happening so we can find out where that's coming from. Step. Oh, do I not have an assert here? I do not have an assert here. Let's bring back the assert. Should have an activity there. All right. Let's first make sure we can step all the way through without problem. One, nope. And okay, we are having undefined actions. Why is that? First we have the action there, just step. And then we have okay, I am confusing myself again, so let's look at the code here. Okay. When I click on an object, it should call this puppy here. And then when I click step, it clicks twice. That could be this bug here. And where I'm clicking on a parent and not the child. Thought I had fixed that. Not world. Okay, we're getting into the weird world, the weirdness levels here. And I'm getting a random error for no particular reason. Okay, what have I done? That was weird. That file should have been the other way around. Oh, I was undoing, that's why. Let's check my diff again there. Okay, put in the assert, get rid of the activity, and the log. Limit our clicks, and then click once, click twice. Okay, let's just save that. Move extra click. step, 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 step. That's all good. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's where we go wrong, because probably our overflow was not behaving properly. Overflow of the the stepping function here. Step function here. Right. Length for our reactive array is a function and not a property, a quirk of JavaScript. So now 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, yay! Let's save that. Git commit sham wrap around reactive array properly. Excellent. That's something, and we should stop. Okay, now having gotten that part, we will go to our program display, which is no longer displaying. Let's just move some of these things back to our controls here. And our children is this function here, which returns a list of children based on the program. And it should be a list of dictionaries. Let's just make sure we even got this part. This is a mapped dependency array, which is, I think, the sort of thing we want to be nice and dynamic. But it's not actually I think we need to see if it's actually drawing it. First, let's just try the crude, make it yes, okay, good. If we tell it to manually return an array, it'll draw things there. But interestingly, if we don't tell it that, it will not. So that's the first mystery we need to figure out. And we will see that in our draw method when we have let's see, where is that going wrong? I wonder if has children, so just got rid of. Children, child count, children.length. What is children? It is get children. So it should be, well, I think I just have to do my draw method tracing here. Just look at it the painful way. And it certainly is calling, wait, draw path, there should be draw self now, right, for consistency.
So what are you doing now?
So what's happening is that in my draw method, I have this recursive thing where it draws all the children of the world, and then when there are no more children, it draws itself. And what I've been doing is I want to have this program listing. I want it to be a dynamic thing that as I add new commands to the program buffer, it adds them to that array. And if I do it as a static array, it displays nicely. But if I make it a dynamic array, it doesn't display anything. And that's the way that the system works, it's built on something called reactive-coffee. And what it does is it creates these little proxy cells that keep track of when their values change. And when you say get and set the value, it'll propagate the changes. That's why when I move my turtle here with this button, it changes a value on the turtle object, and the value that's used to draw on the screen automatically updates. So it takes care of all that bookkeeping for me, and I can change a value anywhere in my program, and it'll propagate throughout the UI very nicely. The challenge is that these reactive things are a tiny bit different than the actual native JavaScript arrays and dictionaries and values. And that's where I'm trying to figure out what's going wrong. In particular, when I'm drawing the active program, which is this thing here, it should be calling draw self on the individual controls. And it does that in this version here. What was it doing? So here we see it's drawing the front, right, front, left sequence there. But if I'm returning an array rather than, if I'm returning a reactive array rather than an actual array, it doesn't actually see those children, and therefore it draws the top, it doesn't draw those things. So I need to look at this data type mapped dep array in reactive-coffee to see if there's some something non-trivial that I am doing. The API reference. At length. So dep array presumably should have the same length function as a mapped dep array, but does not. So that's the first thing I can check, is that it's apparently failing on the has children test, which is why it's not drawing all the children. But let's see, this is the active program here. Let's look at result.length. Length 4, yeah. So it has a length. It's being returned, but it's still drawing self. So there's some weird little quirk here. So I should be taking the dictionary of children being created here. This is a list of children, and then anywhere. See, I understand it. Okay, let's just validate our theory about why things are going wrong. So world active program is here. And then it's there properly. And then here, it's not calling draw world, children world. It's calling draw self world. Let's just add more explicit what does it want? See the label name there? Okay. So draw self of the world if there are no kids, but if there are kids, we'll draw so make sure we are looking at this properly. Yes. So kids are true. Too many things going on here. Let's rerun it. Okay. Kids true, kids true. I see. What are these guys being drawn? Game controls, kids are true. And then step, run, stop, reset. Okay, those guys are being drawn nicely. And then left, front, right are being run nicely. But the dep array is not, because kids are showing up as false. And don't know why. Well, let's actually look at the children that are set there at that point. So every time I'm asking for children, it is regenerating that array, which is actually good because I want that to be a dynamic value. But it's well, let's actually try simple hack first and see if I can make it work. Let's assume that that's a good thing, that it's being called all the time. So this will draw here like this. Now, what I want to be happening is a to change the semantics of those actions to something different, which is I need a new signal. That's what I should be doing. So the basic theory we're working with, Andrew, is that computation is really about signals. And the idea that the better way to think of computation is not that there's like instructions operating on code, but that you're sending signals to a machine. And some of those signals are change the routing for what happens to other signals. And thinking about it that way is what I'm arguing a more natural metaphor. But what I want to be doing is creating, I think, a new set of signals, which I'll call it, let's just call it prog. probably easier to create new ones than to overload. And let's just call this left, right, forward. And the idea is that I'm going to make this a programmatic action, where this is the key. So that these buttons, unlike the original set, will be pushing a set of actions onto, actually, is that what I want? No, let's go back and look at what I want these things to do. What I want to have be happening here in my controls is, I do the action and I pass it at the dictionary, and then I need to define in my turtles file here a new function called program. Prog. And what that should do is get program, and then okay, we're just pushing a signal. So that should actually be, what it really wants is to something like, this gets the key named signal from the arguments dictionary and stores it in the variable signal, and then it should be program.push signal. So it's a meta command, and these things should actually be signal left, etc. Let's call this forward.